What is up, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome to another episode of the Black Line Brief. I'm your host, Matthew McKim. We're going to have a good show today, as always. Welcome, everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining us all. As you come in, please do me a favor and hit the like and the subscribe. It's the best way to help the channel. Helps the video get seen by more people. All right, so a lot going on today. Loved Candace Owens' episode. A lot came out, and some things were covered that, man, I never got through the whole Carrie, Brigitte Bowler, and Tucker Carlson episode until today, and all the real good stuff happened later, and no one had covered it, and then Zach Costello covered it today. But we're going to go into it, too, because I want to show and point some things out. The text messages that came out over the weekend. If you had any doubt, like where Erica Kirk, where her allegiance lies, it's not with the legacy of Charlie Kirk. It's not with his spirit. It's not with his name. I don't even think it's with his kids. It's definitely not with him. It is to money, power, the ruling elite, Trump, Philadelphia. Yeah. So, I mean, releasing messages that they want to use to try to say, you know, he's for the war in Iran, or he's friends with Ben Shapiro and them, when there's so many more important text messages that we've been asking for that could, shine light on so much of what happened to him, and they choose not to. It's just so disgusting, and it just proves time and time again that people, defending Erica, like, what are you doing? Like, wake up. Wake up. All right. I don't want to spend too much time setting everything up. I want to get right into it. I definitely have a lot to say. I don't have a teleprompter. There's not enough space on this page to write everything down. So my thoughts are a little bit everywhere. So as things come to me, I will point them out. Hopefully you guys can hang on for the ride. All right. Let's get right into the Tucker Carlson, Carrie Brigitte Bowler episode. We're only going to hit two parts where they talk about Charlie Kirk. All righty. And there's been some issues with my internet tonight. I've already had to refresh and reconnect to the internet. Hopefully, fingers crossed, say your prayers. Nothing goes wrong. All right, let's get right into it.
To believe what you believe. You forced me to adopt your religion, and I won't do it. And that's why you're angry. And then Dan got really weird. And he's like, well, you've been posting about Charlie Kirk. It was so weird.
Oh, they didn't like it when you posted about Charlie Kirk?
No. They said, you've been questioning, who assassinated him. I go, oh, wow. God forbid I question anything. I have to be a robot, right, Dan? I have to just...
No one's been convicted.
Right, that's what I said. I said, this is an ongoing investigation. I have every right.
And moreover, I don't think this kind of behavior puts people's concerns to rest.
It was very odd.
Ruthlessness, cruelty, single-minded devotion to like some weird culty cause. That doesn't...
I've been waiting for Tucker to say more. I think we all have. We've been waiting for some key players to say more. I want Megan to say more. I definitely want Tucker to say more. He's definitely saying more now. And I understand why. He explains why he's been holding out. However, the thumbnail and the title are what it is. Because if you guys were wondering what would be happening to Charlie Kirk right now if he were alive, they'd be doing to Charlie Kirk what they're doing to Tucker Carlson. The thing is, the things that are different of why they can't just take Tucker Carlson out, he's not as a public figure as Charlie, in the sense that Charlie was in public a lot. He went to very, very public events with lots of people. He put himself in situations that the people, the power, the evil that's out there took advantage of that. Tucker Carlson lives in a very, very rural area. He has a very small circle, and he also has ties to certain parts of, so intel agencies are very compartmentalized. His dad did work for the CIA. He has connections. Okay. He doesn't go out as much. His security has been the same for however long it's been the same. It's not Brian Harple and Dan Flood. For that reason, taking Tucker Carlson out, I think, has been and is much harder than taking Charlie out. Charlie was surrounded by all these evil people at TPUSA, Erica Kirk, and then his security team as well, right? And he was surrounded by the mocking pastors, a lot of prior military and current military individuals, the ties to Fort Huachuca. It was easier to take Charlie out than what they're trying to do to Tucker now. Tucker has not put himself in a position where they've had the opportunity to take him out. Okay. I think they probably were trying to when he went to Philly, but he never left the airport. But make no mistake, if for some reason taking Charlie out wasn't possible, they'd be doing to Charlie what they're doing to Tucker right now. Hands down. And I think that goes to show you that the whole Arctic Fox or Frost thing, think about this. If the left and the right are both controlled by Philly, I'm beginning to think that whole Arctic Frost investigation into Charlie was either just to scare him, to try to control him, or it was always, led by those in Philly. And also keep in mind, the real individuals that control everything, right, is the ruling families, the financial international bankers, those families, but also the intel agencies from around the world. After World War II, the people that control the information control a lot. They control a lot. And the fact that Charlie would be speaking out right now about all the same things Tucker is speaking out about, I think hands down, they'd be trying to put him behind bars if there wasn't another following opportunity to take him out. So don't get twisted on TPUSA, Erica Kirk, Ben Shapiro, all telling you that he'd be supporting Trump to the end. He'd be supporting Ben Shapiro. He'd be supporting Philly. He'd be supporting the war. No. Him and Tucker were on the same. I said this before. Tucker Carlson is the legacy of Charlie Kirk. He is. He is the one person who, before this whole thing went down, him and Tucker Tucker and Charlie were on the same page on all of this. Way more so than him and Megyn. Megyn has been behind on some things and continues to be. But, all right, so let's continue. I just wanted to say that.
Make me feel better.
Yeah.
At all.
Shut up and obey.
Yeah. But they didn't like that, huh?
No, because I don't obey them. They don't like that.
Oh, I'm trying not to get okay. So wow. So how is this resolved?
Yeah. So the meeting was supposed to start at, I think it was supposed to start at 8:30 or 9. It ended up being late. Like the hearing started late because it was this heated, and Ben Carson's sitting there half asleep.
Oh, I forgot. That was the only part they said about Charlie there. The next timestamp is further down. That's right. I had wrote that earlier thinking that they were going to say more about Charlie there, and then they never did. The next time they actually really talk about him in depth is right here.
He's one of the people who tried to bully Charlie Kirk into kicking me off stage.
Mm-hmm.
Seth Dillon.
He's a political enforcer.
And I don't, Zach Costello in his episode today thought that he thinks that Carrie Pershing Bowler was trolling Seth Dillon when she asked him, "Are you Jewish?" Because I guess it's just like widely known that he is the most pro-Zionist Philadelphian Christian, around. I guess it was known. I didn't know that. When he sat up there on that Religious Liberties Commission and she was asking him when this whole thing went down, I literally said out loud, I mean, I think he's Jewish. I mean, a lot of the people they had on that day, it was all about anti-Semitism and, that Zachariah Zabebi, I forget the kid's name. He was up there. Other rabbis were up there. And then Seth Dillon comes up there. So I was like, I thought too he was Jewish. I don't think she was trolling. I think she really didn't really know who this Babylon BB is, and was like, "Are you Jewish?" And he's like, "No, I'm a Christian. Yeah. Oh, you're a Paula White Christian." And you guys keep that in mind. I don't think Trump has ever been, was ever, and will ever be a Christian. Ever. The person he chose to be his pastor of his administration is one of the most evil, power hungry, money hungry individuals out there. Paula White. She's not Christian by any stretch. She, if anything, is possessed by a demon, hands down. To get up there, go watch some of her clips. I'm not laying hands on anyone until you bring up envelopes. I can do this forever. She filibusters the pulpit. And it's just insane. That is who Trump chose. That's who got Kerry kicked off. And Dan Patrick, or whatever his name is, another non-Christian Christian. Trump has had opportunity multiple times to stick up for Tucker, stick up for Charlie, stick up for Carrie Brasheen Bowler, and he didn't.
And you had an exchange with him.
Yeah,
Can you
I did.
Describe it?
Yeah, I asked him to his face. I said, Charlie was being called, since we're having a hearing on anti-Semitism, Charlie Kirk was being called an anti-Semite.
I know.
And I asked him to his face, Seth Dillon, I said, would you condemn that he was being called an anti-Semite? I mean, Charlie wasn't an anti-Semite.
He was not.
And he got a little uncomfortable.
And neither am I. And neither are you.
Neither am I.
These are slanders.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Charlie was called an anti-Semite a lot.
Yeah.
And I talked to him about it a lot. I know a lot about this topic. I never talk about it, but I know a lot about it because I was at the center of it, because the debate was, should he cancel me?
Yes.
In my speech this December, and he wouldn't. And one of his last texts we've ever seen was about this exact question. So, and Seth Dillon was one of the thugs trying to force Charlie.
You know that for a fact?
Yep.
Of course.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I have to pause it often so that it doesn't interrupt our stream, okay? Because I don't know. It's the only time I've ever played anything from YouTube in a live where like nothing else happened but just playing, and I was already pausing, and then it just completely kicked off the stream. So I don't want that to happen. Keep this in mind, you guys. Someone messaged me a while back when Tucker went on the Theo Vaughn podcast, and he said, Charlie came to my house right before he was assassinated. Right before, not the night before. This is the interaction that Tucker's referencing here. Charlie came over to Tucker's house within the week before, right? Within the recent days before his assassination. Everything Tucker is saying, he's saying firsthand, like knowledge from Charlie's mouth. Charlie said these things. Seth Dillon was one of the individuals that pressured him the most about this whole Philly, you got to change, Charlie. You got to do what we say, Charlie. We're going to take money, Charlie. Charlie told Tucker what really went down in the Hamptons. Erica was there. Oh, my goodness. Hold on. I got to hold on. My stupid X. I don't know why. It's like it's a tab I have open, but I had it paused, and then it just like will randomly start playing. I had to exit out of it. That's annoying. So Erica Kirk was there. She was at the Hamptons event. Whether she was physically in that same space when they, cornered him, pressured him, I don't know. Guaranteed on the flight home, on the ride home, he told her, unless, because this is so close to his assassination and the marital issues had already begun to become so big that we still haven't found out if that he really did file divorce papers 4 days before the assassination. but that they had the fight the night before, that the priest came over to pray over their marriage, not over that stupid Jezebel article. Maybe he didn't confide in her. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible that he vented, though, and she knew exactly who pressured him the most and who pissed him off the most. And we'll look. I pulled him up. We're going to look at some text messages directly from him that got released this weekend and that Candace shared on her show today. But Seth Dillon, the scumbag that he is, same with Ben Shapiro and all these individuals that came out after the fact and tried to sell to the American public, and many of Charlie's followers that didn't know the ins and outs of Charlie's personal relationship with these individuals. He had a professional relationship. So he's still going to invite people on his show. He's going to invite people to debate that he's going to moderate that he doesn't agree with, like Josh Hammer. He set that debate up to watch Dave destroy him. Just like he offered Ben Shapiro to come on and do a debate, to come on and do an Ask Me Anything. But Ben, being the proud person that he is, thinks that he needs to be on the same level as Tucker. No, I'm not going to do that event unless I have the same kind of status and speaking, position as Tucker. No, Ben. What TPUSA tried to make that text say, what Blake tried to make that relationship and text say, is a lie. Candace, and I read it myself and came to the conclusion that we'll go over it when we get there.
And so we're trying to force Charlie to cancel me and other things. It's not about, I just happened to be the guy that they were very, very focused on. But so Seth Dillon is asked by you, would you condemn the attacks on Charlie Kirk as an anti-Semite?
Yeah, and he said, yeah, Charlie wasn't an anti-Semite. I said, I agree. Thank you for saying that publicly. And then I asked him about the Hamptons. I said, we'll just go there. I mean, we're already going there, so let's just go there. So what happened at the Hamptons?
And that was a meeting that Charlie had with, among many others, Seth Dillon,
Mm-hmm.
I think Bill Ackman was there. I think he paid for it. I could be wrong here. I'm no expert, but I
Josh Hammer.
remember very well because Charlie came right to my house after that. So we talked about it.
Wow.
And
I guess that's what we could do. We could look at the timeline. So right after the Hamptons meeting is when Charlie went to Tucker's house. Okay. Right after could be a couple days, couple weeks, but so right after the Hamptons meeting is when he went to Tucker's house.
so what did he say?
He said that Charlie was making statements saying that you can't, I'm paraphrasing, but that, you can't criticize Israel. You will be destroyed if you do.
By whom? Have any of these people ever read the prophets in what we call the Old Testament? The Jewish prophets? Talk about tough on Israel. Holy smokes. I read some of that stuff and I'm like, give Israel a break, Isaiah.
You guys, most of the individuals, what a lot of people need to do is look up the Babylonian and Jerusalem Talmud. Okay. So much of what is, and not in all synagogues, not by all rabbis, but I definitely think some of these, we know that Einstein referred to and used a lot of language out of there, what they refer to us as, why they think. So just so you know, they believe anyone that's not Philadelphian, that our souls, our actual souls, come from a lower plane of existence. That at the very essence of our being, we are beneath them. That their souls come from the highest, directly from God, but ours don't. Ours come from a mechanical space, and that we're like tools. We're like animals. And that's why they can lie to us. They can loan money to us at interest, but not to one another. They can do things to our children and our women that they would never be able to do to another fellow Philadelphian. They did not look at Charlie as an equal, Ben, or any of the Philadelphians that he was taking money from. They used Charlie as a tool. They saw him as a tool. His life, his soul had less value to them. They could discard of him and it not be against their teachings. And it wouldn't count against them because we're animals. That's why they have done what they've done to America. That's why they have no problem sending our young women and children and men over to die in wars. Charlie wasn't an equal to them. They didn't care about him the way Christians, true Christians, care about all human beings.
Yeah, Jeremiah, pull back a little bit. You're pretty tough on Israel. Do they ever notice that? I mean, what is going on?
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse me.
No.
Okay. So
and then he mentioned, and then he called, that's what it was. So he called Candace an anti-Semite. They're obsessed, Tucker. They're obsessed with the label.
Yes.
You're an anti-Semite. As soon as they attach that to you, you're done.
Yep.
They shove you in the box.
So when Moses goes up a second time to Mount Sinai and says to God, please kill me, these people are too annoying. I can't deal with it.
Yeah.
Is that anti-Semitism?
Yeah, in their book it is. I mean, in their, lexicon and dictionary. Yep, 100%. And if you do not, if you are anti-Philadelphian, the ZION word, then you are an anti-Semite, 100%. So we have to praise Bibi and the government and, the country of Philly. And they're right to do whatever they want, or you're an anti-Semite. Well, we know how Charlie felt about all that. There's no question what they'd be saying about him today.
Like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah. They're obsessed with it. And so they brought up, I think either I brought up you. Oh, yeah. I'm not sure who brought up you, but I remember saying you're obsessed with calling Candace and Tucker anti-Semites. And it really has to stop. It really has to stop, Seth.
Yeah. What did he say?
He got very frustrated. He got very uncomfortable. He was squirmish. He was very, very frustrated.
He's not a man at peace.
Very uncomfortable, yeah. And then after that was over, we actually went backstage and I had probably like a 10-minute, while everybody else was on stage still, I went to the bathroom and then I talked to him. And we had a pretty good exchange. I said, "Are you Jewish?" And he goes, "No, I'm a Christian." I said, "Oh my gosh, I thought you were Jewish." He goes, "No." I said, oh, "Okay." And I said, "Well, thank you for that dialogue out there. I think it's very important." I said, Charlie was being called an anti-Semite and I wanted to know about the Hamptons meeting. I was told that, they were bullying him. And
they certainly were bullying him.
Yeah. And I said, "Thank you for clarifying that." But since then, he keeps saying that he wasn't one of the ones that was, bullying Charlie or calling him an anti-Semite. Or I asked him, I said, "Seth, who was morally blackmailing Charlie? Who was it? Just say the name or the names of the people that were doing that." Because Charlie was very upset on Megyn Kelly. He said, "They're morally blackmailing me. They're calling me an anti-Semite."
And we're going to look at that too. We're going to go to that next, the Megyn Kelly and Charlie Kirk episode.
Attacking my character. Who are these people? I think we have a right to know.
We do.
Who are these thugs?
I talked to him about it many times. And he was very upset about it. And I've really tried not to use the memory of, a dead friend to make a political point. So
that's a true Christian and a true friend. I'm not going to use the memory of a dead friend to make a political point. If anyone had the ability to say what Charlie felt, what Charlie would be doing, saying, it's Tucker. It's Tucker. It's not Erica. It's not TPUSA. It's Tucker. And he hasn't, out of respect for Charlie. Tucker has shown more respect for Charlie than Erica frickin' Kirk. When is everyone going to wake up? This is why I get so mad and why it does bother me when people are saying that Charlie Kirk is alive, okay, and that Erica Kirk is not a bad individual, has no suspect motives, why TPUSA and Andrew Colvett and Blake Neff and Mikey McCoy and Rob McCoy and Frank Turek, Terrell Farnsworth, Tyler Boyer, what is it? Jake Hoffman, Seth Dillon, why these individuals had nothing to do with his assassination, are not evil people. They're his friends. They could never hurt him. Yeah, that bothers me, that they're trying to exonerate the people that are clearly the most evil and clearly are lying and hiding things. And clearly, in my opinion, had something to do with his death and now the cover-up of it and the tainting and perverting of his legacy. And so anyone saying that, yeah, I got a problem with that. I do. That's just me being honest.
So a lot of other people have not restrained themselves. And they're constantly talking about my best friend Charlie, and he thought this, he thought that. But I know a lot about this topic, of course, because I was at the center of it, because it was my speech that they were mad about. So
he was protecting your speech.
He certainly was, at great risk to himself and great risk. He lost millions of dollars, as he said, because he refused to cancel me. So, of course, I know all that, and I haven't gone on and on about it because I don't like calling attention to myself. And I think there's something ugly about talking about someone who can't speak up for himself once he's passed. I just don't like it.
Yep.
Because in my culture, that's not acceptable.
100%.
But it's just a lie. They're lying. And I know that for a fact because he sat in my living room and told me about it. So stop lying. I can't deal with it. And he was making me too mad. So now Dan Patrick is saying that because you wouldn't.
All right. And that's about all that they say about Charlie. And, I find it very interesting. I did some real thinking about some things, and some of the people that were closest to Charlie that are good. So Tucker and Megan's there. I don't agree with everything she's been saying and doing 100%. Candace Owens, 100% agree. I think I've been led astray on some things, and I think I woke up. No, I did. But you know who's not saying Charlie's alive? Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens. Okay? Because it's ridiculous. All right, let's get to the Megyn Kelly and Charlie Kirk episode and see what they were saying.
And spoken out about the anti-Semitism that has erupted on these college campuses many, 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 many times. And something's happening, though, with this whole debate that is really bothering me. And I wonder if you're feeling it, too. So I genuinely believe you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody in the public eye who's been as outspoken a defender of not every move Israel's taken in the war, but of Israel's right to defend itself and of the just backward awfulness that we've been seeing on college campuses and the backlash against American Jews than yours truly. I mean, I have been at the pointy end of the spear on this. And
I completely agree with that.
it was all heartfelt, and it remains heartfelt.
Yes.
However,
thank you, Chantel, for that. Super. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or anything you want to throw in the super chat, I'll get to them as we go. I'm not going to leave them to the end. Periodically in between, I'll just get to them. I'll answer them right away. So if you have questions that pop up, throw them in there. You don't have to do big ones. You could do small ones, and I'll get to them right away.
However, my contention here is that some in the pro-Israel camp are so knee-jerk about calling you anti-Semitic or getting deeply offended if you say anything that doesn't align with their narrative, that it undermines their own cause. And I have to tell you, I find it very irritating because I do feel like some of us have earned the right to have some credibility on the subject of Israel and don't want to be called those names when we have.
I agree, Glenn. I agree 100%. I think people that have come to this whole covering Charlie Kirk thing after the fact and didn't spend years watching Charlie, those are all the people saying he's alive and saying all these BS things. Because honestly, I don't think Charlie was a fake person. I think the person he was on screen day in and day out was Charlie. And everyone that know, just like Tucker, I don't think that's a persona. I don't think that is some, public facing version of himself that he's presenting to us. Okay. Tucker, I think, is authentic and genuine and honest. I think his Christian beliefs and values force him to be that way. And same with Charlie. And so anyone that spent any sort of time over the years, literally actually watching and listening to Charlie in full form, following him, could never come to the conclusion that he's alive, would fake his death, and is running this psyop. So I agree 100%, Glenn. Thank you for saying that. And thank you, Chantel.
Some mild pushback on some of the overreaches, whether it's, whether they're winning or losing the propaganda war right now. And my contention is they've begun to lose it. And I realize it's propaganda coming at us from Hamas, but their numbers have turned here in America. They've turned, not so much with Republicans, a little bit with Republicans, but completely with the Democrat Party and with independents. They have shifted mightily from at least double digits highs to single digit lows now with when it comes to approval. And also with respect to, you and I speculated about this at the Turning Point event, whether the possibility of Jeffrey Epstein possibly being a Mossad agent or asset or affiliated with, that's been turned around on me too, to you must be anti-Semitic. What the hell? That's such.
Think about this, guys. If Einstein really was a high up asset of Mossad and, other agencies and was running a operation, which literally has given Philly this leverage on the United States political structure and all of the ruling elite here, the people that were speaking out against him, okay, so Ian Carroll, Megan, Tucker, Candace, Charlie, and then we're also speaking out against Bibi and Philly and Gaza and Iran. I think some of these things for them, because it's not like the Philadelphians looked at all of these content creators, like everyone I just named, as equals speaking up. Like, who are you, Goyim, to question us, to point out us, to say anything negative about Einstein? Who do you think you are? We do whatever we want to do to you. You're our little tools. You're our little property. We use you and dispose of you as we see fit. You don't tell us that we're accountable to you. What are you talking about? You wanted our money? Dance, little boy, dance. You don't want our money? We're taking it away. You still don't bend the knee? You're gone. That's how they looked at Charlie. That's how they're looking at everyone. Now Pierce is on the other end of the firing squad. Candace has been from day one. Megyn and Kelly are in it now. I mean, Megyn, Kelly, and Tucker. I mean, they've both been in it for a minute, but like it's increasing, obviously. Did you hear Trump say, we went to we did this war out of habit? Sorry, that's an ADD moment. I'm like getting off. We'll stay focused. I'll touch on that later.
Bullshit. The same people who say you can criticize Israel, that's fine. We won't call you anti-Semitic if you criticize Israel. Now turn around.
Okay. Also, look at his face. He is not messing around right here. And the timeline goes, this happens first. All right. This happens first. And then Andrew Colvett schedules Benny Shapiro to come sit down on his show the day before September 10th. And Charlie's like, what are you doing? I don't want to sit down with this schmuck. I don't want to sit down with him. Dude, Charlie's smart. Charlie's very smart. He knew that he still had donors, right? He played the game as he saw how he could. So he would phrase things as questions, right? When he was asking Ben, he wanted Ben to out himself. Just like when he offered Ben to come to AmFest, Ben, you know, it's like TPUSA and Erica Kirk are trying to show that there's no text messages between Ben and Charlie where Charlie's like cussing and yelling and condemning Ben. Charlie's a professional. If he's going to vent to people, he's going to vent to people like Brett Weinstein, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, and other of his close personal friends. That's a safe space. But any text message to Ben from Charlie is going to be professional. So yeah, I'm sure they could pull out these texts where Charlie's communicating with Ben, trying to get him to come on AmFest, to do another debate, to do an Ask Me Anything. That doesn't prove he was friends or believed or supported Ben in any way. They know that. So they're using words, they're taking text messages and things Charlie said out of context and then putting it into the context they want you to read. They want you to see. And that's happening at the blessing and behest of Erica Kirk. There's nothing more evil than that. I mean, everything that's been happening since September 10th and to now is, but trying to say that Charlie stood for or stood against or he said this and he didn't, that's evil. To me, that shows that's exactly why they took him out, so that they could do this. Because if he's alive, they couldn't do this. If he's alive, they couldn't do this. They could not control him. They could not manipulate him. They could not force him to be their little good goyim. But a dead Charlie Kirk, they could make him say, do whatever they want. And there's a million other motives. That's just one.
Around immediately and say, you're anti-Semitic for even raising that. I completely reject that. And I raise this as a pushback against my friends on that particular strain of the aisle to watch it.
To great, let's just say mockery and scorn at times because I believe it, right? I believe in the scriptural land rights given to Israel. I believe in fulfillment of prophecy. And again, I'm not a theologian, but I'm a Christian. My life was changed in Israel. The spiritual energy is so amazing there. I want them to win. I've said that repeatedly.
Same.
And however, Megan, you're hitting on something.
Okay. Also pay attention because look, I don't want to spend too much energy and time on other creators and saying them by name either. Okay. They'll spend 30, 45 minutes attacking me personally, making lies, telling complete lies about me. Okay. But I'll say this. Look at Charlie Kirk and watch the facial tic that he has. And everyone's saying that when they captured that picture of him on September 10th, where he's doing his tick and it strains this part of his neck, is a prosthetic. And that when they're questioned, well, I mean, can you look back at any time before where he did that? No. Oh, we couldn't find any. Literally every day. It's a tick. It's literally a physical tick that he had every day. And anytime stress and anxiety increases, the tick increases. You can see it in this interview. Watch. He does it multiple times. So it's intellectually, intentionally dishonest for any of them to say that that's a prosthetic when either they have to know. I mean, or yeah, none of them really followed Charlie Kirk before. They're coming to this very late in the game, but they know many people, Blake and myself, have pointed this out. And they pull pictures, still photos from him when he was like 18, 19, and he wasn't doing it in that one photo. Give me a break. You can make anything to try to fit your narrative. How about you look for the facts and the truth and then get to the actual conclusion based on real facts and truth, and not working backwards from your conclusion to try to make everything fit that so you can be right, so you can be win, so your narrative can win. Oh, today was the win for the Charlie Kirk's Alive. It's a win. It's not a game, dude. This isn't a game.
Something very potent and important. Now, let me first say, I don't want to judge an entire group because there's been many people in the pro-Israel world that have been very sweet, very kind, very nuanced, very Charlie, you know, you're with us. You don't have to agree all the time. However, and I will say this,
he's literally doing it almost like every couple seconds. He does it when he breathes in between breaths and words.
Behavior by a lot, both privately and publicly, are pushing people like you and me away. Not like we're going to be pro-Hamas, not like we're going to, but we're like, honestly, the way you are treating me is so repulsive. I have text messages, Megan, calling me an anti-Semite. I am learning biblical Hebrew and writing a book on the Shabbat. I honor the Shabbat, literally the Jewish Sabbath. I visit Israel and fight for it. And there's another article out in the Times of Israel today. I could read it on air. I was just reading before I got on. Charlie, what are you doing? Like, what am I doing? I'm sorry. Like, let's just take a step back here. Like, I'm an American citizen. Yes, I want Israel to win. Yes, I'm a Christian. But like, some of the mess, and you've seen how I've been treated, Megan, by some, not all, by some.
No, it's very irritating.
It's
been
almost
so
as if
unfair. They were coming after you after Turning Point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith is allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
Though. No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Again, I just want to repeat for the fifth time.
Tell me in the chat, you guys see it, right? You guys see the tick? He's doing it a lot. He's under a lot of stress and anxiety, and he's obviously emotionally dysregulated right now. And so it's increasing, and you can see it more and more. You guys see it, right? Okay. All right. But we're going to continue to listen to it.
I love Israel. I want Israel to win. But my moral character is now being put into question, Megan. Not my decisions. Not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this. And I could go, I mean, you saw it, Megan. It was trending on Twitter, thousands of tweets and text messages. And if I were to be charitable and generous, I will say the people that are attacking me are in a hyper paranoid state because they're at war, and war tends to make things black and white. And you're a hammer looking for a nail. So I'm trying to be charitable, Megan. Literally, I'm trying to cut as much slack as I can, right?
He literally is. He's literally trying to walk like the balanced path. Okay? He's not being extreme. And he has every right to come out at this point and be extreme.
Okay, what would it be like if all of a sudden I'm starting to see a pattern of behavior similar to what my grandparents saw in 1930s Germany online? How would I behave? So that's like my charitable kind of overcompensation spirit. At the same time, I'm like, but it's not defensible to be dumb, right?
Yeah.
So,
and it's offensive. It's offensive to those of us who have been out there defending them in many instances against critics on our own side.
You guys remember Lori Cardoza Moore? Let's see if I can pull that up. The Lori more Charlie Kirk text messages. Let's see. Why is that so blurry? Let's see. AI mode. Yeah, Lori Cardoza more. Man. All right, I'll try to find it somewhere else and not hold you guys waiting.
And now you have a couple of comments like, well, what about this? Well, has it gone on too long? Like, is it time to wrap it up? And the thing about Epstein is just so bizarre. I don't know who he was an agent for. It might have been Israel or an asset, or it might have been nobody. Yeah. But we're allowed to speculate about that. It's like there's some rule you can't go there when it comes to Israel.
Well, you and I believe that we're Americans and Americans first, period. End of story. We are citizens of this nation, okay?
That's right.
Israel, we have funded, we have supported, and they're up against a sea of Islamic totalitarianism, and we should be cheering for them, right? Because they're up against barbarians and monsters, and we want them to win. However, here is Megyn Kelly and Charlie Kirk combined, probably 30 million social media followers, like pretty, right? And you and I have been holding this down, and you probably get the negative, oh, you're just shilling for Israel, whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do what's right regardless of the feedback, right? But then all of a sudden, like, I host a person that I moderate the debate of, mind you, right? And I give equal time to Josh Hammer, equal time to a pro-Israel advocate, and my moral character is being put into question. And so I think it's a hyper paranoid, like, we're just going to try to, we're going to just stamp out everything type of practice. But it goes to the point where, if, for example, if I have less ability sometimes online to criticize the Israeli government about backlash than actual Israelis do. Mm-hmm. And that's really, really weird, isn't it, Megyn? That's not right.
Do you guys know, did they delete those off the internet? I can't find them, those text messages. It's interesting. I'm trying to find them right now. The ones that Lori Cardoza Moore sent, where she's like, don't be counted among the Edomites, Charlie. God's going to lift his hand of protection from you, Charlie. I can't find it. If you guys can find it and email it to me, that'd be great.
Wrong-headed. I'll tell you this, for me, so I got some blowback after saying Mossad possibilities with Epstein, a comment behind which I stand. I mean, I realize, and I've, of course, reported what Alan Dershowitz has said as his lawyer. He says, I think he would have told me. He didn't say he had any of those connections. I hear all that. That doesn't mean it's not true. I think all these things should be explored. It's one of the many things that should be explored around Epstein. But saying that, and also saying he might be a U.S. asset, et cetera, doesn't make you anti-Semitic. That's fucking crazy. And then we get to last week, I go on Piers Morgan, right? So I go on Piers Morgan last week, and I don't talk about Israel a lot in this show. I just like covering the day-to-day of a conflict like this is not my thing. It's not what we do here at the Megyn Kelly Show. We haven't done it for Ukraine. We haven't done it for Israel. We haven't done it for a lot of conflicts, but we'll talk about it when big things happen. So Piers talks about it a lot. Piers asked me, it was a very interesting kind of culture study. So he asked me about the photos of the starving children out of Gaza. And I said a couple of things, both of which got a fair amount of pickup. All right. So first, this is what I said about the photos. Listen to SOT 10. Well, I'm always reluctant, and my Jewish friends online, like, go Megyn. Yeah. Okay, great. Cool. Yeah, she's right on. Look at her, speak truth to Piers. And then Piers released the 25.
I'm trying to find the parts where Charlie's speaking.
Text messages from people I know, like friends who are pro-Israel, like, I'm so sad that you've left us. I'm so sad let's debate it. Me observing
I totally agree
that you're losing the propaganda war and that this has gone on for about 2 years now. And look, I pulled the stats, support for Israel's military action in Gaza by party ID. GOP states, your closest ally. I see what's happening, and it's my job to comment honestly on it. Totally. But I am sick of being lectured on, like, you have.
And Charlie says he totally agrees. And sorry if I'm jumping around. I'm just trying to find the parts where Charlie's speaking, because we know how Megyn Kelly feels about this. Cynthia Um, look, based on, oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Well, I'm following the older gentleman, the Common Sense show, to see. He's the one that reported on that. I don't. He seems to have like connections to family of Charlie's, like the sister, the parents, or someone that's friends with them, and speaking to them directly. He's speaking as if he has like almost secondhand, knowledge of what he's reporting. I'm definitely putting feelers out there, 100%. I believe that Charlie, like, I believe the kids were real. Like, I don't think they were like rented or anything like that. Charlie believed, at least from what I saw, that they were his kids. Maybe towards the end is when he started to, question that. I don't know I've never heard anywhere else that he questioned paternity. Only from this Common Sense show guy. And I feel like you're going to make a claim like that, you got to come out with some facts. Something. That's such a cliffhanger, and that it does a lot to our imagination in the meantime. And so, yeah. Sorry, I'm jumping around with this clip. I'm trying to get to the parts where Charlie is speaking, okay?
To see it exactly as we see it and support everything, or you're against us.
So this is so important, Megan. And again, I don't want, you cannot say everyone in the pro-Israel, and I don't say it, acts that way. But I got
Agreed.
texts about you, Megan, saying, why is Megan like doing the bidding of Hamas? I was like, what are you talking about? Megan's the best. Like, what? Like, she's amazing. And I said, why are you texting me about Megan? And I at that point, and so this is what they don't understand. You and I, Megan, and Tucker is in the same category, and they've tried to go after Tucker.
Yeah.
Is that the more you attack our moral character, the more we're going to double down in a direction, because 100%. Screw you, I don't do it that way. Okay.
Pay attention, guys. So he just said the people that are like, and Candace should have been in there too. And I know he believed Candace is in there too. He just happened to not say her name here, but he says him, Megan, and Tucker, okay, are like this on this issue with Philly, and they need to stay out and not do everything that they've been doing. But then he says something very key, where if those around him, those pro-Philadelphians and the Philadelphians themselves didn't know what tactic would work, how far they would have to push him to get him to bend the knee, he made it very clear here. This tactic is not going to work at all. In fact, it's going to have the opposite effect. It's going to push me even harder. He says, I'm going to double down. So if there was any doubt before this interview aired what the outcome would be of all this pressure on Charlie, there was no doubt after this aired. They were like, looks like we have to go to the final plan. Looks like we got to do what, so-and-so said we probably were going to have to do anyway. Looks like they're right. He's not going to bend the knee. Nothing's going to work. We can't pressure him. It's going to push him harder. He's going to double down. And that's exactly what happened. It made him firmer. Remember, he said he wants to be remembered for his courage, for his faith. He believed, just like Tucker, just like Carrie Brigitte Bowler and Megyn Kelly, that by sticking up, defending Christian faith, defending America and our right to question was pivotal to his faith. That him doing everything he did was him standing up and showing his courage for his faith, even if it meant opposing people that claim to be Christians like Ted Cruz and Paula White and and Seth Dillon, these people that clearly had Philadelphia's interests over ours and clearly are not Christian in any way. They're just not. And I hate to be a human who's just a human saying, if someone's a Christian or not, like only God can judge. But yeah, we also, as Christians, are supposed to judge people by their fruits. You should be able to tell by how someone talks and how someone acts if they're a Christian, not just if they proclaim to be one. Many people proclaim to be things that they're not. Okay? Many people proclaim to be Christians when they're not. You can tell by the words that they say, by the things that they do. You can tell.
Hey,
Right.
like when tell me I'm wrong. Cool. Tell me if I got my facts wrong. By the way, on the Epstein thing, Naftali Bennett says he wasn't an Epstein agent. We have to be pursuers of truth. They've denied it. Fine. Let's keep digging. Okay. Fine. But the thing that I think is being lost is like on some part of the population, you can scold them into silence, right? But if I have any deviation of a purity test, any deviation whatsoever, such as hosting a focus group, right, Megan, with a bunch of our students that went viral, having Dave Smith or Tucker at my event, it is all of a sudden, oh, Charlie is he's no longer with us and all that. I said, wait a second, what do you mean? What does with us mean exactly, right? I'm an American, okay? Like I represent this country, and I don't even understand that paradigm. But Megan, I think you would agree with this. I want to make sure we really zero in on this. Personality types like you, myself, and Tucker, the more that you guys privately and publicly call our character into question, which is not isolated, right? Megan, it would be one thing if it was one text or two texts. It is dozens of texts.
Yes.
Then we start to say, hold the boat here. And to be fair, some of my really good Jewish friends are like, that's not all of us, it's all, but these are leaders too, though, right? These are stakeholders, right? And so, look, I'm afraid because again, I want civilization to win. I want the West to win.
I'm afraid. I know he's talking about it in the context of civilization and America. I think he also was afraid personally. I think that's very clear. He said dozens and dozens of people have been texting him, putting pressure on him, calling him an anti-Semite, warning him what would happen. God's going to lift his hand of protection from you, Charlie. We can't guarantee your safety. You keep walking down this road, Charlie. Who knows what might happen to you?
I don't want the Islamo-fascist barbarians to storm the gates of Jerusalem. I want the holy sites protected. I believe in the Holy Land. I love that Jesus walked on water there and rose from the dead and preached in the Mount of Beatitudes. Like I feel the connection to Israel. But at the same time, simultaneously, when the hostile reaction is that now Megan and Charlie are enemies,
right?
Boy, I'll tell you, like, you're not gonna, I won't say lose, but you will weaken and just basically deflate two of your strongest advocates if that continues.
Right. And to me, I laugh because it's like,
and that's exactly what it did. That's exactly what it did. Let's see. I think he's got one more thing to say.
I've been bullied by the best of them, the best, and it didn't work, and it's not going to work with them. The more you try to tell me I can't criticize Israel, the more likely I am to do it, to focus on exactly what you're doing, right? Like, what are you doing that you're so defensive? You don't own me.
Charlie said, I'm the same way. The more you tell me I shouldn't, I can't, you better not criticize Philly, the more I'm going to do it. Why did they keep trying? They clearly didn't respect him. Any of his supposed friends and those donors didn't respect him personally. His wishes were clear. Stop telling me what to say, what not to say. Stop telling me what to think. Stop telling me what to promote and what to not promote. It's only going to make me do the opposite. But they kept doing it anyway. The pressure increased, it intensified. The threats became more brazen, more direct. until they had nothing else to do in their mind to get what they wanted. And they were willing to do whatever it took. This war in Iran, the future world, one world government, the Pax Judaica, everything that's been planned for decades, that's unfolding right now. The future power, the future rested on this. They weren't going to let some lowly Christian goyim ruin that. No, not with the size and power of that organization that he was the head of. No way. They couldn't let him leave. They couldn't let him walk away and just start anew. They couldn't let him turn into Candace and Tucker and Megan. Look at what happened when they left their previous employment places. They're bigger. Their following grew. Their influence increased. Their impact grew. They couldn't let that happen to Charlie. That would be literally the end of them. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at some things. I wanted to see, okay, we can come to this in the end. I wanted to see what Megan did a show today, but I wanted to, and we'll get to it. Let me read some of these. These are what was on Candace Owens' show. So this is from Charlie to Candace. Stand for truth. The people are with you. I know. Been through enough of these to know that the truth always wins in the end. By the way, he was standing on a couch. So he's in the gray. Candace is in the blue. Laugh out loud. Ha, ha, ha. Too good. He's unhinged. Stay the course. This is about Ben Shapiro. He's unhinged. Stay the course. Keep in mind, Charlie is a professional, okay? He's not going to text something and give, any kind of physical record to someone like Ben or to anyone in that group. He's going to text his real thoughts and his real feelings to people he can trust. Candace, Megan, Tucker. So the only people that will have Charlie's true thoughts and feelings on this matter is going to be Erica Kirk, because she has his phone and she has all of these text messages as well. So she knows exactly what text messages he sent to Candace, Megan, and Tucker. She doesn't share those. She went through and found the one that she sent to Ben, or that Charlie sent to Ben. Of course, Charlie's going to be professional to Ben. And that was a professional correspondence. He's asking Ben to come speak at an event. He's not going to say to Ben directly and have evidence of him saying how he really feels about Ben to Ben. Give me a break. Let me answer this. Thanks for your passion, Matt. Charlie lives through all of us here. Thank you, Apocalypse Now. Yes, he does. Yeah, he does. And I think the one person, one of the people, not the one person, I mean, Candace is as well, and Megan is as well, but the one person that I think that is doing exactly what Charlie would be doing politically, with his platform, Tucker is doing that. Tucker is like the living legacy of Charlie. I mean, so is Candace, and Megan is in certain ways, but really, I think Tucker and him, were aligned on so much of this, and their approach and how they articulate it, how they choose to present their arguments and their beliefs. So, yeah, let me go on to the next one. So this is, Megan McCain, you guys, stop sharing dead people's text messages, you absolute psychopaths. Okay. Her dad Yeah. Okay. I'll leave that. I'm not going to talk about Ill of the Dead, but Megyn is the last person to be talking about who and who is not a psychopath. We'll leave it there. Next, there are some verses in the Talmud that will blow your mind. I'm aware of them. The Talmud is not biblical, but it's their rabbinical interpretations of Judaism. Yep, and there's two. There's the Babylonian Talmud, and then there's the Jerusalem Talmud. I did a deep dive one week. Thought crime. Yep. This is between Charlie and Candace. Shh. Don't let anyone know. Brett Weinstein, he's the one that just went on the Tucker Carlson podcast and said that he thinks it is very suspicious and shows some, potential guilt. And that Bibi came out immediately and read this public, Philly had nothing to do with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Yeah. Okay. If anyone wasn't thinking about it before that, everyone was thinking about it after you did that 100%. So on June 18th, I had a text exchange with Charlie Kirk. He said he was spending 2 full days at the White House trying to persuade President Trump not to initiate a war with Iran. So it's completely dishonest that Erica Kirk and TPUSA would say in any way that Charlie would be for and supporting Trump in this war. Given that Charlie was close with the president and that he represented a large constituency essential to Trump, and given that many proponents of the war with Iran saw a U.S. strike as urgently necessary to the survival of Israel, it is reasonable to wonder if his refusal to back down from his steadfast opposition somehow resulted in his murder. Agreed. A good investigation could have settled the matter. What we got only increases the reason for concern. Asking this question may be unforgivable, but it is in no way unreasonable. Charlie was in a strong position to keep us from doing what we have now done, and the timing of his death removed him from the equation and likely changed the course of history, as Charlie himself worried it might. I agree 100%. Charlie writes, the proponents for regime change have pivoted the last 24 hours. They know they are losing and their position is indefensible and unpopular. Keep the pressure on. Right there with you, Charlie. We have to shut these maniacs down. Not only is the Republic depending on it, but the citizens of Israel are too. Thank you. I totally agree. And by the way, I think the president needs us to keep the pressure on. The neocons are very vocal and adamantly powerful. Admittedly powerful, but the public does not want war, especially not to be dragged into one by a belligerent Israeli regime. I know we need to be better. I have a theory on this, which is the power of dissident media is very good retroactively at uncovering injustice or scandal like COVID, Ukraine, or the border. We are not good. We are not good, or what we are not good at is driving real-time mass public opinion yet. The neocons are. I'm doing all I can, truly. I was at the White House or in the White House all day fighting for America. Same tomorrow. So that's in reference to what Brett Weinstein was just speaking about. He was there for 2 days getting Trump to not go to war with Iran when Trump eventually just decided to bomb Fordo and the other nuclear power plants. Limited strike. So Meghan McCain is a piece of ish, strictly or directly from Charlie's mouth. Well, we know how he feels about her. Blake Neff, right? So since some silly claims are being made right now, no, Charlie Kirk did not hate Ben Shapiro. Well, I think Candace clearly cleared that up for us. He did not like Ben. And you know who could have put this all to rest right away? Erica Kirk. She has his phone and text messages. Charlie and Ben differed about the best direction for the conservative movement. Ben supported Ron DeSantis in 24, primarily with Charlie, and Charlie was all in on Trump from the start. J.D. Vance was one of Charlie's favorite politicians, while Ben has been critical of him. Charlie saw Ben as a rival. That's the key part. I don't need to read the rest of this. Oh, wait, that's as far as Erica got, right? I mean, sorry, that's as far as Candace got. Let's see if there's anything else. But what I'll read it actually, because there's some total BS in here. They both had high profile shows in major conservative organizations. Charlie wanted his to be bigger. They weren't the same. Candace made that very clear. And you were not even around, Blake, for the creation and the building of it. So you're not in a place to speak. Sit down. Shut up. Charlie sometimes found Ben frustrating and annoying because he thought Ben was too interventionist, prioritized Philly too much, and the like. Yeah, you could say that. That's an understatement. And yeah, I'm sure there was personality friction too. Look how he's speculating when he could just go to Erica, ask her to release texts. Or we could listen to Candace because she has the text messages herself. Who should we listen to, Blake or Candace? I think Candace. And let's see. Okay, but whatever their differences, Ben defended Charlie from bogus claims of racism and never joined in ridiculous smears labeling him as an anti-Semite. Well, that's not true. That's a total lie. If Charlie hated Ben, he wouldn't have kept inviting him to AmFest. Okay, yeah, let's read that. I think that's next. Let's see. Ben Schreier began to secretly commission hit jobs on TPUSA a decade ago. This is from Milo. Charlie Kirk knew. We met and talked about it and discussed strategy. Kirk and I weren't friends for long, but while we were, all he talked about was how amazing Candace was and how effing evil Ben is. It says, can I post this? Yes, but I want to allow this to play out before I say something, but go ahead. Could use your advice on it honestly. I haven't seen this posted anywhere, so I'll put it on Instagram and Facebook. It's so effing bad, it's unreal. Ben is dedicated to your annihilation. The sooner you realize that, the better. Wanted to send Candace a herogram. May I have her number? All the best. My husband is obsessed. She is simply the best. She is super protective of her number. Let me ask and get back to you real quick. I think that's her number. Brilliant. Thanks. Let's see. Yeah, we read that. And then, oh yeah, just like her father was. Disgrace. Yep. I thought there was more. I don't know where the part was where the... Okay. Oh, cool. So now we have, these are the text messages from Lori Cardoza Moore. Let's read those real quick so we can refresh our memory. Okay. All the people that trusted you, Jews and Christians, including me, why would you platform anti-Semites like Candace and Tucker? There are many evangelical Christians who would never give these people the opportunity to spew their hatred. I'm one of them. You say people are accusing you of being an anti-Semite because you disagree with the Philadelphian government. Well, what is it exactly you disagree with? You threaten the Jews and Christians with your 30 million followers. Are you kidding? Be very careful, Charlie. You are in violation of the 9th commandment by bearing false witness against your brother Judah. When was the last time you read your Bible, Charlie? Oh, usually that's me. Oh, there we go. I don't know if these are out of order. Hopefully they're not. Candace and the rest. Wait, what does the last one say? How does it start out? It says, I'm. Let's see. Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah, this is the next one. I'm coming to you as a believer. Genesis 12:3. Obadiah and many more prophets warn those who curse Israel will be cursed. Hey, guess what it meant? It was talking about Jacob. and then he got renamed Israel. It wasn't talking about the modern creation state of Israel in 1948, Lori Cardoza Moore. Learn your history and your scripture before you start telling someone else what it means. Those who curse Israel will be cursed. Your TPUSA Tampa event was a disaster. Michelle Bachmann was booed, and about 10% walked out on her when she talked about standing with Philly. You brag about how you convinced all these young voters to vote for Trump, but you can't convince them to stand with your Jewish brethren. This is not a joke, Charlie. I'm coming to you as a sister in the faith. Notice she doesn't say Christ, not a sister in Christ. Notice these people won't say his name. Notice. I know it's also a title, Jesus Christ. It's, I get that, but they won't say it. They'll say Lord. They'll say faith. You have accomplished so much by the hand of the Almighty. Again, won't say, the Almighty. Which Almighty are you talking about? Which faith are you talking about, Cardoza? But he is going to lift his hand. I can't read what it says underneath that. Something, fall for Tucker. Don't fall. Yeah, he's going to lift his hand from you. Don't fall for Tucker, Candace, and the rest. The Jews are under attack. And notice she doesn't say G-O-D, right? G-D warns us that in the last days, that he will wipe out the descendants of Edom because they stood by while their brother, Jacob, Israel. So now she gets it. So Jacob was renamed Israel. So she does understand, but she misquoted it in that previous, that Israel means the modern state of Israel. Oh, man, I've been saying it a lot. Hopefully, YouTube gods don't silence me. Jacob, that's who. So initially that blessing was for Abraham, and then it passed on to Jacob. Jacob was renamed Israel, and that's where this whole those who bless Israel will be blessed. It meant Jacob. It was talking about Jacob. So Jacob was held in captivity and did nothing. Don't be counted among the Edomites. They believe we, Americans, America, Christians, we're the Edomites. It will be to your peril, as well as the unfinished work God was going to do through you. These people are disgusting. What they were doing to Charlie was disgusting. Oh, I think someone, no, that was it. That was the email. Okay. Let's see. All right. We are at, let me see something real quick, guys. All right. I wanted to see how many likes we're at right now. All right. Well, we got 134 people here and 87 likes. Come on, you guys, let's hit the like if you're here. All right. It's the only thing I ask of anyone to do. If you're viewing this content, even if it's briefly, just hit it before you forget, before your kids pull on you and ask you to go do something. It definitely is the best way to help the channel. Okay. All right. Let's see. Did I miss? Okay, here we go. I got another super here. Pro tip. Chocolate cake for dinner is better. Don't let the mainstream media tell you otherwise. I don't get it. Is that like a joke? I don't know what that means. You're just being funny to be funny. Maybe Jessica, maybe not. I like it. I mean, I like cake. I like cake. Who likes cake? Christ is king repeatedly, Renita Sophia. Yes, Christ is king. There is no other. People claiming to be Christian, and then the next words that come out of their mouth is profanity or, other words that, it says out of the heart, the mouth speaks. Okay. I've never attacked anyone personally. Okay. When I talked about other content creators, I even gave them recognition for the things they did good. My only critique was when all of a sudden everyone jumped on this whole Charlie Kirk is alive theory, and they all did it simultaneously. They all are working together. They're communicating with one another by their own words. They've said it. And they're referencing each other. They're playing each other on each other's platforms. They're saying, that's who I spoke to. I called this person. I spoke to this person. The Charlie Kirk is alive theory slanders Charlie. It attacks his character, his Christian decency, his name, his legacy. It seeks to exonerate Erica Kirk and TPUSA and everyone there. And it seeks to lead everyone astray, either by apathy, all the conspiracy too crazy, I'm done, I'm out, or Charlie Kirk is alive, so we can stop, we can wipe our hands of this and be gone. Or they actually believe it, and then they stay tuned to these individuals and watch them for information. And then they stop tuning into everyone else that's still actually concerned about finding out who really killed Charlie. And we think we have a good idea. We're just trying to figure out how they did it. But in my opinion, Erica Kirk, TPUSA, and Philly, the government, and the military all had something to do with it. It's my opinion. Okay. But I've never attacked anyone personally, so, and I'm not going to. My issue is with this theory. Okay. And then, yeah. Anyway, all right. That's all I got to say about that. Let's see. The alive theory is so convenient for TPUSA. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And that's why Gary Melton on his show played Jesse on Fire. Okay. And then said, I don't want to misquote or, misrepresent Jesse's stance. But Gary goes, I believe Jesse is on the whole Charlie Kirk is alive theory. And then Gary says, I'm okay with that. I have no problem with that at all. Why? Because it seeks to defend and exonerate TPUSA and Erica Kirk. Jesse himself said that was his intention. He wants people to stop looking and attacking and investigating Erica Kirk and TPUSA. He wants people to be led astray. And he wants Candace and Barron and everyone else that's actually still investigating and doing deep dives into them. He wants them to stop. That's his intention. He said that. Go watch. I've watched every one of the Making a Martyr episodes. There's nothing meaningful there. Dishonest lies, intentional, misdirection, intentionally leaving out key facts of our version of our theory of John Bray's, of Barron's, and of Candace's. It's dishonest. And so if someone's intentionally being dishonest, intentionally leaving things out and misrepresenting what we believe and what our theory is, they're doing it intentionally. That's dishonest. And for that reason, I said, I don't trust people that are doing that. But that's all I've said. And because I said that certain individuals were saying it and they're like, oh, well, he said it before we were saying it. No, I've watched your content and I saw what you were saying. Most people didn't watch all your stuff. I watched your lives. So I saw what you were saying. And you said it, or else I wouldn't have said it. And then you come out on X the next day and are go like, yeah, Jesse's theory. Yeah, that's what we believe. Okay. So I was right. So you do believe it. You are saying it. Okay. What? Okay. Anyway, let's get to, thank you, Mystic, for the super sticker. If anyone has any questions, comments. Oh, that's right. I want to show you guys something. Let's see. Oh my goodness, Barron is still live. Holy smokes. All right, so where is the beginning where he starts showing footage? All right, let's go here. Let me exit out of that. Whoa. There we go. Whoa. Get out of here, notes. It's not what I want. Let me make sure you guys can see it. Nope, you see my face. I just was making clicking noises. All right. So on this day, here's what's interesting, you guys. They show us all these different videos, these Ring doorbell cameras. They're all different people. They're not all the same person at all. And they've never really given us a comprehensive timeline of when they think like this happened, that happened. Why would that person have been limping before they went on campus? People fill in the blanks. So when you give them pieces of information and it's all scattered and jumbled up, the brain wants to solve a puzzle. It automatically tries to like make things fit pretty and neat. It needs it to make sense. And so it does that automatically. And it sometimes does it with the wrong information. It's out of order. So why would the person have been limping before he jumped off the roof? Right? I mean, they're telling us that he was limping because he jumped off the roof. Okay. Oh, okay. Or that he was limping not because he actually was hurt, but because he had a rifle in his pant leg. You wouldn't be able to bend your knee at all. You have a straight metal like pole down your pant leg. You wouldn't be able to bend it, not even 25 degrees, let alone 35 or 40. So let's see. Let me see if I can get to the part where the dude in the black hat and long pants is walking. Okay, just bear with me. Okay, here it is. Ready?
It's like there's more than one person. Almost like one of the people has a limp and one of them does not. But let me roll this again real quick. You see that little hitch in his giddy up? He's kind of...
Notice how much he's bending his left knee. He's bending it way too much for there to be anything solid like a rifle, even if it's broken in half, it's, disassembled in half, but there's supposedly a rifle down there, right? Because if it's not because he jumped off the roof, because this is in the morning, he doesn't jump off the roof till 12:23 and 36 seconds. Why would he be limping? They want you to then fill in the blank. Oh, well, that's where the rifle is. No, the rifle's massive, number one. And even if it is broken down in two, that means he would have one in each leg. It's 45 inches to 49 inches long total. Broken down, it'd be half. Maybe one's a little bit longer than the other. So one would be like 20 something and then whatever. Okay, make up the difference. One would be in each leg. Okay, or if it's all down one leg, I mean, that's a massive wooden 1900 rifle. There would be no extra pant material to wave in the wind like that when he walks. It doesn't fit in the backpack either. It's not down the back of his shirt. So why is he limping? But they want you to fill it in. It's not from jumping off the roof. Oh, then there must be a rifle. Nope, there's not a rifle in there.
Dragging that right leg a little bit, like his hip flexor doesn't quite pull his knee up as he's walking. He's got his hands in his pocket.
Yep. So what I think happened, you guys, if Tyler Robinson was being used by the FBI, by foreign intel agencies, whether that be the Mossad or the French or whoever was involved in planning and executing this, and even ours, our CIA, our FBI, whoever it was that found these kids on their Discord chat, like Lance Twiggs and Tyler Robinson, or if it was through Tyler Robinson's intel connections through the school. Okay, I forget that movie with, oh my gosh, man, I thought about it earlier. I think it's called The Recruit. Maybe not. Okay, I'll tell you about it next time. If they're doing some sort of like, they're working him as an op, right? They're either telling him, in my opinion, to change his clothes. If this is the same or two people, this could be Lance Twiggs and Tyler, or it could be neither. But I think at most, if Tyler was involved in this at all, the most he did was they told him to go get captured on camera in these neighborhoods by walking around in these neighborhoods wearing different pairs of clothing. Because it's interesting that the authorities claim that he changed his clothes multiple times that day. Well, I mean, that's also because we saw what they're saying is the same person in all of these different locations in all these different footages wearing different clothes. And then the Dairy Queen. Well, definitely the kid walking up the steps. And that's who I think that was. I think this person right here, or wait, let me go back. This person right here. Oh, it is. That's this person. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Let me see. That's this kid right here. Okay. 100%. That's this dude right here. Hold on. Let me make it bigger. Let me put it here. Okay. Let me share this tab. Boom. Okay. This kid right here. Look at what he's wearing. Look at the square emblem on his shirt. Look at his pants. Look how baggy they are here. He's bending his knee. They're making it look like he's walking down one step sideways at a time. Like he's not bent. There's nothing in it. You can see how tight. There's his phone. He's got the black long sleeve shirt, long pants, the Converse, the hat, the backpack. Okay. This kid right here, and he bends different knees at different times. There's nothing in the left. There's nothing in the right. Here's knee bent right here. Okay. That kid is this kid right here. Same kid. Look at the shirt. Okay. Look at the pants. Look at the hat.
He only limps
Hold on.
in certain outfits, and then he doesn't limp in others.
Right.
He's got his hands in his pockets there. Like, do we? He gets out of here.
Oh, man. I can't catch it. There we go.
This is him allegedly walking at 8:07. Notice he has a little hitch in his giddy up.
So that's the kid that I just showed you. That's this cat right here. All right. That's this guy. All right. Now, let me go back. Come on. Man. Because I zoomed in, I can't do that. Let me go back. And then where is another photo from that day with the shorts? Well, that's the other thing. So let's see. Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen photo. So here. Here, he's not wearing Converse. Okay. Those are like Asics or I don't know, Payless shoes or something. It's like a reddish maroon shirt and dark blue, dark jeans, and a totally different hat and glasses. All right. That's not the same kid that we just saw. All right. And then let me go back. Then we have the other photos of the kid. When he's wearing shorts. All right, I'll just play the other video because that's where it's at. Let me go here. All right, let's see where he plays the kid walking in front. Oh, where is it?
Not as crisp in 3 a.m., 16 minutes later. So we saw him limping down the road at 8:07.
Come on.
And here he comes driving down the road around 8:22.
Where's the one where he walks? Man, is that further down? Okay, here we go. So here is definitely not what Tyler Robinson was wearing either. Okay. Tyler Robinson was wearing like running shoes, long, like blue, dark jeans, and I mean, similar shirt. And yes, he was wearing a hat.
Gray shorts, just casually strolling down the road.
No limp either, by the way.
I just want to be accurate. So that was him at 8:07. Either here. And I want to go. I can't tell which road he came in on. So let me share this tab instead.
Oh man.
This right here,
I'm gonna
walking
see.
back towards campus. 10 minutes ago,
Did he not show it? Walking. Where is he?
give it just a moment to change scenes here.
Okay, there we go.
And there he goes walking by. So an hour and a half, this guy's just out strolling the neighborhood.
I literally think if that's Tyler, if any of these are Tyler at all, oh, and here's that other kid, again with the black shirt and the black hat and backpack. I'll play that in a second. I really do think that if Tyler did anything that day, he played such a minor peripheral role, like dropping off clothes, picking up clothes, staying nearby. Like they maybe had him hanging around like, hey, we're going to have you do this. I need you over here, just so that like either his cell phone could ping or so that cameras could pick his car up in certain places on certain times, having him walk through neighborhoods. There's no evidence that he was ever on campus. Okay. The one photo of that kid in the stairwell, that's not Tyler Robinson, you guys, at all. The person on top of the roof, not Tyler Robinson at all. There's no proof that Tyler Robinson was on campus at all that day. Okay. Maybe near. Maybe by campus. Sorry, my other screen, my monitor that shows the. All right. I thought something happened to the stream. That was weird. All right, next I'm going to go to Renita. Larry Silverstein bought U.S. Bank Tower in L.A. Yeah, I know. So people, if those of you that don't know, but before 9/11, Larry Silverstein bought, the Twin Towers, which was not worth at all anything because it had asbestos in all of it because when they built it. And they did remodeling of 2 floors, and it cost like hundreds of millions of dollars. It was going to cost twice the amount of what they were worth to fix the buildings, to make them usable for office space, to have people in them. So he then takes out these insurance policies, and then they are part of this, attack and get blown up, and then they crumble, and then he actually gets double what they were worth in his insurance payouts. And so if anyone works at the U.S. Bank in LA, I would not go into work. Larry Silverstein shows up and buys your building. Leave. All right. Let me get back to it. But yeah, let's play this because I think this is that kid with that long sleeve black shirt.
Suspect Tyler
down the
Robinson was released by Chuck Keeler on
It's not even the same.
YouTube. Now, this showed the
Notice he
suspect
doesn't
heading
have
in the
too much
direction
of a
of the
limp in
Utah
this video.
University campus around 11:44 a.m.
Yeah, and my point in just showing all this is that I really think that if Tyler played any role in this at all, it was, and I don't think that they even told him what was happening that day. I really don't. I don't think he knew that they were going to assassinate anyone. I mean, we'll see as more information comes out, but I think at best he thought he was doing something else, and they just told him like, hey, stick around, hey, be over here, hey, go walk through these neighborhoods. Half of those though aren't even him. They're for sure not even him. Maybe like one of them could be. I think how they've been protecting Lance Twiggs and how they've been hiding him, I think that person had a lot more to do with it than anything. Yeah, but all right. We're at an hour and 40 minutes. It's 9. I need to eat dinner and take a shower and go to bed. Let's see if anyone has any questions or comments before we sign off. Speak now or hold your peace until tomorrow. Are we good? Everyone good? All right. I appreciate your guys' support, and yeah, I really am blessed to be here and care a lot about you guys and this channel. I appreciate all the love and support. Oh, we just got a super come in. Let's see. GTG. Thanks, Matt. Y'all remember to pray. He wants to hear and talk with you. He loves us in spite of ourselves. Yes, I agree. Make sure to be praying a lot for one another, for your families, for yourselves, for the country, for the world. There's so much to be on our knees for right now. And above all, I mean, that's the most powerful thing that we could all do. Yeah. Well, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much, guys and gals. God bless you guys. Get some good sleep. I'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless. Bye, you guys.